The outdoor work for the wood shop in 2024 is nearly completely done. Now we're going to circle back and get back to work on the interior stuff. It was exactly 2 months ago that I stopped work on installing these ducts and started putting this wall in. In order to get the outside stuff done, I needed to get this wall in so that I could put the electric panel in, well, this wall and the metal upper wall, and I needed an extension so I could get the indoor part of the Minisplit in. I had to pour a concrete pad, and I got the compressor unit out there, and then I had to go through the wall in 2 places. This one goes to the shutoff for the Minisplit. This one goes to an outlet out there, and there's a freeze-proof condensate drain right out there. I did not have that on this channel, but you could see the PEX line going to it right there. And then I just rigged up this other stuff that goes to the condensate drain for the time being. This is going to end up having a standpipe here and some other stuff. It's going to be pretty interesting, but I'll have to try to put a link to that video where I put the freeze-proof sump out there. It was, most of a day job, and it's pretty interesting. But then I got this place cleaned up, really cleaned up. You could see that I had stuff all over these walls, and I actually filmed that, but half of the files that I filmed were corrupted, so it was a useless video. Let me try to put a piece of that video on here that shows how things were, and then we'll get back to this stuff. My bad, I forgot to give you a little tour of what it looks like right now. A lot of this stuff is from working on the tiny house, and I'll be done with the tiny house stuff for the year very soon. This is all stuff for the compressor. We have electrical stuff and tools, rotor bits, just miscellaneous stuff that I got up onto shelves until we have a permanent home for it. Tiny house stuff, that's the kitchen sink. This is going out of here. This is our new dryer. I have to convert this to propane and then get it out of here. All of this stuff is for a craft room that's going to go right on the other side of this wall. This is going to go out of here as well, and I'll be working on that craft room this winter as well. That fiberglass is getting out of here. A lot of stuff is leaving, and a lot of stuff is going to be shifted around. So let me get at that, and I'll be back in a bit. I'm not 100% sure what I said in that video clip, but if I go over it again, it is what it is. I made a new punch list, and we'll go over that. We're going to get started on this. Hopefully I have this in the right order. I believe I do, but I may have to skip around a little bit. Fix heater and test water. I just talked about testing the water and what I got to do that. I don't really even need to do it until next year, but I decided I should do it. I need to hook up this line down here to the hydrant, and then I need to put an end on that PEX right there, connect the two, turn it on, and then I have water out there and right there. That one's already been tested. I used it all last year, but we'll test this one, make sure there's no leaks, and then I got to take all that stuff off, and we'll drain the system again, and then that wall will be ready to cover up. This part of the wall will be ready to cover up. Okay, finalize and seal main ducts. That's back to this stuff. I want to get whatever is here, just get it finalized into its position, seal it up, And then I have just these cheap caps. Without putting the drops in, I'm just going to cover up the ends here. And I got one for the end over here as well. That one's going to be more permanent. And then we're going to get this fired up. But in order to do that, I need a barrel on the bottom there and the filter on. We got the filter right there. And I do not have a 9-inch. Well, this is the only 9-inch flange I have. This used to be connected in a previous shop. The dust collector was connected to a 35-gallon fiber barrel. I only had 7 feet of clearance of headroom in a basement shop, and it had a tiny little fiber barrel underneath there. And these don't fit on a 55-gallon drum. But while I was assembling all this stuff, it fits on top of it pretty darn nice. I was going to cut this out and then pop rivet it to the top of the barrel, cut that out and blah, blah, blah. But it looks like I can just put the entire top on there and caulk it up, pop rivet it down. And this is all from stock. So hopefully with all this stuff, I can make this look nice and be functional for starting up this system. The system hasn't been started in, what did I say it was? I think it's 22 years. So I'm really hoping that that starts, but it's not a good idea to start them without having stuff on the lines. You can really overheat the motor doing that. So that's the first thing. Get the dust collection working, and I have dust. And there's a bunch of stuff. I got to get ground on here. It is grounded via the electric system, but I'm going to put a more robust ground on it. And not too much else on that, except for the sealing. I have to seal all the joints and stuff. Then we go to air. The air is even less work. I could have set that up long ago, but I wanted to make sure all this stuff was done before winter, and it's done now, so good thing. I need to connect this to the shutoff box, get the anti-vibration pads underneath it, start it up, and run the break-in procedure, and see if the lines leak anywhere. And if it does move, it's just going to be on anti-vibration pads. If the unit moves, I'm going to have to drill the floor and we'll anchor it to the floor. I have anchor, question mark. Okay, finished the machine drop wiring. That is almost done. I was waiting on some new carabiners. I have those. I want to get at least these two into place, the jointer and the planer. And then we're going to jump onto the planer. The planer is going to get disassembled, cleaned. I'm going to put graphene on the tables. I have like a dust-proof wax for the pulleys and stuff that are underneath there. And we're going to put a Shelix cutter head on this and a digital height display. Let's see where that stuff is. Just having a little bit of a hard time finding this stuff. Cutter heads right there, the remote readout, some extra knives, miscellaneous stuff. So all of that is going to get installed. And I had thought I might have thrown out the infeed and outfeed tables, but I just found them. So I'm going to fix them if need be, get those installed. I'm going to put different infeed and outfeed tables on this, but I just want to get it running. So I'm going to put those on there until that time, and we're going to have, hopefully, an operational planer real soon. When all that is done, I'm going to hook up the 3 main machines, the jointer, the planer, and the table saw, to the service drops here, and we're either going to get them hooked up right away to the main trunk of the dust collection, but before that, I can hook them up to this delta here. I have all of the stuff, so no matter what, as soon as I get this ready, I'm gonna hook them up to dust collection and we're gonna start making some dust out here. Okay, reinforce both doors, and what that is just removing some of the insulation and making the hinge side solid wood. I'm gonna make invisible doors on both of these doors here. I got, well, I probably won't be able to find that, but it's in here somewhere. I got some big invisible hinges, and we're gonna try to make these completely invisible, but we'll see how we do on that. Okay, clad the west half of the north wall. We're gonna get this wall clad up to here, permanently mount the thermostat, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna start on that door right away, but we are gonna finish up the three-way light circuit. So we'll continue the conduit from right there down over by the door, and we'll get that all wired up. Okay, that's the three-way circuits. Parts cart design, we'll get more into that later, but I have a parts cart idea that uses, these are 36-inch, or are they 4 foot? I believe they're 36-inch hinges, real heavy duty. It's an interesting design. It's an expandable parts cart for when you have lots of little pieces and big pieces. It slides out and you have a place to put both. Okay, and then finish the lights. We have a couple more lights to put in, and the actual light circuits, they're just on extension cords right now, and these are temporary, so we'll be putting in the permanent lighting. And then finally, we're gonna switch to the east wall and finish that wall. I'm sure at the time, we're just gonna go all the way over and then all the way over to the door and finish the walls up. I can't cover this up until I put some stuff outside for the outside lighting. I'm not sure if we're gonna be doing that in this winter or not, but really don't need any of that stuff done. We'll have an operating shop by that time. And then we got this stuff off on the side. The miter table, we'll get into that later. I have a miter table, really nice one, that I made years ago, and I'm gonna bring that out here, and once all this stuff is out of here, I'm gonna set that up on sawhorses, and we're gonna do some testing, and we're gonna see if I could figure out a completely dust-free way to get that set up, because the miter saw will actually be part of the main flow of the wood into the shop. It's gonna go onto those shelves, be cut to length here, then go to the jointer, yada, yada, yada. It's not as important as the jointer and the planer themselves, but it will be coming up soon. Okay, and then I have hidden doors, Minisplit line cover, we already covered that, and we're gonna start work on the craft room. There's a door behind that sheet of foam there, and there's gonna be a crafting room in there for my wife and daughter and stuff, and we gotta get the walls up and stuff for that this winter as well. So, as far as videos go, we're definitely gonna start with the dust collection, and we'll probably jump right onto the air, just like it says here, and we're gonna throw the test water in there at any time. I might even do that tonight. The fix heater might be a week or two, but that has to be done pretty darn soon as well. And then, like I said, we're gonna go right on to this other stuff. We're gonna try to get working machinery with dust collection as soon as possible. That is the main focus. So make sure you stop back and watch the videos. It's gonna be really interesting out here real soon.